Hey guys, welcome back. So we are returning with more Ultimate Black Panther, where already in this second issue, things are taking a crazy turn, and I got quite a few thoughts on this, so be sure to stick around to the end. But first, if you're enjoying these videos, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications, so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so coming back, we pick up 30 days after the assassination of T'Chaka, where now Okoye is letting T'Challa know that his people are living in fear, so he assures her that he's gonna root out the rot that's hiding in Wakanda, and he will end this war, which right there just goes back to the whole idea of T'Challa not wanting to be at war in the first place. But Okoye lets him know that the people aren't living in fear because they're afraid of war, but instead they're afraid of him. They're afraid of their own king, because for the past few weeks, since T'Challa's declared war, citizens of Wakanda have been searched, some have been imprisoned, and others interrogated. And all of this is being done as a way to search for the enemies hidden within their people, but at the same time it's created a situation where the people of Wakanda can't even mourn T'Chaka without security breathing down their neck. But the way T'Challa sees it, he's just doing what must be done. But right here Okoye, she unpacks this into different layers, because she tells him you're grieving T'Challa and angry, and you're angry because you're afraid. Fear is what anger truly is. So T'Challa asks her what is it exactly that he's afraid of. So Okoye tells him what all men fear, that what they are will never be good enough. Cause there's a lot of weight that he's carrying on his shoulders, to honor his father, to protect his people and their nation, to be their king and their night warrior. It's a lot. But his queen Okoye assures him that he is what Wakanda needs. And just after this, T'Challa lets her know that he's scheduled to take counsel with the Voodoo Khan today. But just before he leaves, Okoye gives him a bit of counsel to take with him along the way. Because before he goes, she tells him not to trust the Voodoo Khan, because they serve their prophecies, they don't serve you. And it's for that reason that you shouldn't serve them. Which more or less is very similar to the advice that T'Chaka gave T'Challa, because he didn't fully trust the Voodoo Khan as well. So going forward, when we see T'Challa make his way to the temple of the Voodoo Khan, it's here where Matron Amala lets him know that the sisterhood has received a vision about him that said a woman of light will come to you. She's around you now. Fates intertwined. Between you there is a bond made during war, and she will give you an heir, the heir that Wakanda has awaited for generations. So immediately after hearing this, T'Challa's like, that woman of light must be Okoye. So Matron Amala says she is close to you, and she asks, she is your light? So T'Challa responds saying, she's my sanity. I never wanted to be a king of war, Amala. So Matron Amala tells him, destiny cares little for what we want, my king. Destiny doesn't care about us at all. And really right here, I want you guys to hold on to the words of this prophecy, because as this continues, we'll find that it can be interpreted a number of ways. But just after this, we head outside the perimeter of Wakanda, where the Dora Milaje are battling the Moon Knight soldiers, and they're holding the line so far. But suddenly we see Shuri tell T'Challa that it's time to turn the tide, as she gives him control to her most recent creation, which she calls the throne. And as soon as this thing drops down, the Moon Knight soldiers are like, oh shit, they brought out the Thundercats. And right away T'Challa just smacks all of these guys, taking them out of the fight and effectively turning the tide. But shortly after, we also see this fight was being observed by both Khonshu and Ra, who are currently having a conversation with the Wakandan spy who helped them assassinate T'Chaka. But for the time being, it's not revealed to us yet who exactly this spy is, though I have my suspicions that we'll talk about later. But right now, after the failed attack of the Moon Knight soldiers, both Khonshu and Ra are questioning the effectiveness of this spy who came to them with the mutual desire of seeing Wakanda fall. So the spy reminds them of how effective they've been thus far, by first betraying Wakanda and getting their Moon Knight assassin inside, to where that assassin succeeded at killing T'Chaka. But still, Ra and Khonshu are growing impatient. They demand information, weaknesses, vulnerabilities in Wakanda's armaments. So the spy tells them that they do have mutual needs, but in addition, this spy needs this war to continue. And when the spy tells them, I am your eyes within Wakanda, I am your sight, Khonshu tells the spy, then seek a path for victory, and seek it soon. So in response, this glowing traitor then says, you do not command me, Khonshu. Moon Knight does not know me, but it is time for T'Challa's reign to end. I am sending you information for a plan. Follow it. And just like that, communications ended. But just after this, Ra asks Khonshu if he trusts this spy, and Khonshu tells him no, but he trusts that they want Wakanda to fall, which is really all they need to make this spy useful. And after this, we head over to the war room in Wakanda, where T'Challa is called a meeting to speak with the people he trusts the most. And it's here where he tells them Moon Knight is after vibranium because every village that they've taken is close to a mine. They don't take prisoners or hostages. Moon Knight seeks the resource. And right there, Shuri's just like, we hide our mines. The only way they would know where they are, and Okoye comes in like if someone is telling them. And this is why T'Challa's brought them here, to share with them what he knows. And to do so, he made sure that the only people he trusts are in this room. Because after the death of his father and the sudden strikes by Moon Knight's forces, these things have given the clear sign that someone in Wakanda is helping their enemy, which immediately has Shuri like, why would someone do that? And Okoye tells her that it's likely because that person is not in this room. A traitor usually wants more than what a nation has to give them. This traitor will be someone close to us, but not embraced by us. Search your thoughts, as will I. So T'Challa assures Okoye that they'll do just that, and he goes on to let the others know that Foxel and Anon have made a recent discovery that will give them the advantage. And it's pretty clever what they share here because they believe they know where Khonshu and Ra are, which prior to this has been hard to lock down, with Khonshu and Ra constantly moving their power source from place to place. So because of that, Foxel and Anon have been watching the unnatural migration of the wildlife that usually clears out of an area days before they can detect that Khonshu and Ra are there. So T'Challa lets them know that he's heading to this location alone tonight. And at first one of them are like, let us go with you, let us help. But T'Challa tells them no, because they're needed here, because there is still a traitor within the walls of Wakanda. So T'Challa assigns Foxel to protect Okoye, while Anon protects Shuri. So from here, as he heads out to the location, I do gotta say that there's something I've been thinking about since the start of this series that's kind of had me like, man, and it's really not that deep, but I gotta say, at first, I wasn't feeling the open mask for Ultimate Black Panther, but more recently, it's been growing on me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But as he's heading out to this location, Shuri tells him that she wished he had not gone alone, so he lets her know thanks to her technological invisibility, he can head in quiet, and after he confirms they're there, he'll have her send out the Dora Milaje. But in the middle of this conversation, T'Challa's signal goes dark, as we're shown that he's been hit and he's going down. So next he tries to reconnect to Shuri, but with no success, only to then find himself surrounded by the Moon Knight soldiers, almost as if they knew he was coming. And as they surround T'Challa, they quickly open fire, which I'll admit this now has me thinking like, hey, maybe he should have covered his whole face, I don't know. But when this happens, it isn't long before a storm cloud forms directly over their heads, only to drop thunder on everyone here, including T'Challa. But when the smoke clears, T'Challa looks up. To his surprise, he sees a woman made of light, who of course is none other than Storm. Which right here just has me thinking about the whole prophecy thing. Cause like I said before, it could be interpreted a number of ways. And I mean, I could be way off with what I'm thinking here, but I'm just gonna put it out there. Cause to me, it almost seems like Storm is the woman of light that the prophecy was talking about, with how their fates are intertwined and the bond being made between them during war, which leads to them producing the heir that Wakanda has waited for generations. And I know some of you are probably thinking, but Dez, T'Challa's with Okoye. Well, yeah, that's true. But as it stands right now, I think she's the traitor. And if that turns out to be the case, this will be precisely what separates her and T'Challa in the middle of this war, to where from there I wouldn't be surprised if he formed a bond with Storm. But that's just what I'm thinking right now. Once again, I could be way off, but I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this down in the comments. Because if it does pan out this way, and we see the Panther turn into a cheetah, running around the continent with a girlfriend and a wife on the side, from there, the motivations for Killmonger to hate T'Challa, that part will just be self-explanatory. But either way, I can't wait to see how it all goes down. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/DopeSpill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.